welcome to the MJ Take on Sports Fan Entertainment. NFL free agency is here. A lot of moves have been going down, so I'm here to talk about them. There will be plenty of videos coming out today, and I'll be talking about plenty of news in each and every video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have timestamps in the description, in the comments. Find a certain topic you want to hear about, click to that time, and watch. And have fun, right? Because this free agency, man, it's a lot of fun, but you don't want to hear everything. And you know me, I'm very detailed. Of every single team in the NFL, there's like 53-man rosters. I know like 40 players at least, okay? I can name you 40 players at least from every team. I know all these players, so I'm very intrigued and interested about all these players and whenever they move around. So with that said, let's talk about them. Let's talk about Mike Glennon and the Chicago Bears and Jay Cutler first. Mike Glennon has signed with the Chicago Bears, or will sign. All of these are will signs because they can't sign yet, and they're probably some of them not even in the cities yet. 3 years, $45 million. Of what is guaranteed, I'm not really sure. I think it's somewhere in the 20s, perhaps maybe 25 million, something like that. And obviously, look, you look at this deal, it's not a great deal on face value. I don't want to trash it, though, too much, because Mike Glennon is a guy that when he was in there, he wasn't awful, but he certainly wasn't great. Now, perhaps he's been on the bench, he's been learning, he's been improving, and maybe he's going to be a Kirk Cousins. I mean, it's possible. I mean, I'm going to grant you that. You did hear that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were offering Mike Glennon a sizable contract to remain as the backup quarterback. So perhaps they look at him, they see him in practice, and they see, oh man, this guy's actually pretty good. We want to hold on to this guy. There were reports that were offering him like $8 million per year to be a backup to Jameis Winston, who has not even been injured yet in the NFL. There's no reason to believe Jameis Winston is going to be injured in the NFL, and yet the Bucs were really trying to hold on to Mike Glennon. So perhaps there's something here, but at the end of the day, the Bucs moved on from Mike Glennon. Why? Because they wanted someone more upside. They wanted someone like Jameis Winston who would come in there and ultimately lead their team to a Super Bowl. And even though I do like this Bears roster more than a lot of other people do, I see the defense forming. I think it could actually be a pretty damn good defense. In fact, last year, it was a top 16 defense, so top half of the league defense in the NFL with a lot of injuries. I think if they improve their secondary, get healthy, they'll be better. They could be a top 10, perhaps even like top 8, 7 defense in the NFL. So I like the team forming. But will Mike Glennon ever take them to the Super Bowl? I'll bet my house that he won't, right? And if you have a quarterback that you really don't think will ever do it, then what the hell are you doing? I mean, he is a significant step down from Andy Dalton, who people think will never lead that team to a Super Bowl. I think he could. I think he's going to need a lot of help. But we're talking about Mike Glennon, who is a significant step down from Andy Dalton and a pretty sizable step down from, I'd even say Alex Smith is better than Mike Glennon. And even Alex Smith is more likely to lead you to a Super Bowl than Mike Glennon. So I don't understand this long-term deal. It's 3 years, so it's not too long, but it's too long for me. And this is a deal to where, I mean, this is a starting quarterback deal. $15 million per year. Now, the Bears do have salary cap, okay, so they can fit him under the cap and still draft a quarterback and then start that quarterback and then have Glennon on the bench for $15 million, and it wouldn't be a huge problem with the cap. But it just doesn't make sense. Why cut a check for $15 million to a backup quarterback? I believe they want to start him, and we'll see how that ends up. I think they'll be okay. I don't think he's going to be awful. I think he's going to be okay. I think they'll be okay. But now they've limited their upside. They will not win a Super Bowl now in the next 5 years, to me, or at least as long as he is their quarterback. And you've now signed your, to me, you signed your soul to the devil a little bit in that, okay, we have now an okay guy, maybe even not even okay at quarterback, but will never reach the promised land. So I don't understand it. The Bears also released Jay Cutler today. That was expected. It's about damn time. Apparently he asked for the release this morning. I don't know why it took him until this moment, but fine. Okay, so Jay Cutler is out of the door. Where will he go? It looks like signs are pointing to the New York Jets, and I think Jay Cutler will be a good bridge quarterback for a football team. Well, good in some aspects. I think he's going to win you too many games. If you want to tank, let's say you're the 49ers, let's say you're the Jets, you want to tank, I don't think Jay Cutler is going to do that for you. The Bears only went like 3-13 or whatever they went this year because Jay Cutler didn't play. When he did play, he won a game against the Vikings. Was that the only game he won? I believe so. But he's all right. I think he can still win games in this league. Too many games for you. Like 6 games. Not like 8, 9, 10, 11. But like 6 games. So he'll win you 6 games if you're okay with that. Now you're going to be picking 9, 10, 11, 12 in the draft if you're okay with that. Instead of like a Brian Hoyer who will stink for the 49ers and will lead them to the top of the 2018 NFL draft. So that's the decision you're making there. If I'm the Jets, I'm not looking to make that decision. Although right now, I think even with Jay Cutler, the Jets aren't going to win anything because their roster looks awful. It looks terrible. They're getting rid of everybody. And I know everyone that they're getting rid of is old, but man, their roster looks worse and worse by the minute, by the second. I don't know what the Jets are doing. I think they're ready to tank in 2018. I think the writing is on the wall for Lovie Smith and perhaps their general manager, although they just got this guy, so probably not. But they just got Lovie Smith as well. We move on to Calais Campbell signing with the Jacksonville Jaguars, or to sign with the Jaguars. And this was reported yesterday, but then turns out the Broncos got involved late, and now he is committed to the Jaguars again, but we'll see. Maybe he'll go back on that plan. But it's a great signing for the Jaguars to a certain extent, I would say, though, because although he's very good, he's great, his fit with Malik Jackson to me is a little questionable. Who's going to be the one technique there? You want a one technique in there that's going to be the primary run stopper. And Calais Campbell is just pretty much good at everything. And Malik Jackson is pretty good at everything as well. Campbell's better. I'm not sure you have a one technique run stopping defensive tackle, though. Calais Campbell can stop the run, as can Malik Jackson, but you don't have like that big prototypical guy. It's not a big deal, but it's a little deal for me. I just think that's a little odd, the decision here. I would have rather preferred to get like a Brandon Williams nose tackle, Dontari Poe nose tackle, who could really be a one tackle in your scheme. And then you have still have Derek Marks coming off of the bench who can be that pass rushing defensive tackle. So I don't really understand the philosophy here, but I like it because this is a veteran guy who played great last year. Has been one of the elite 3-4 defensive ends for the past number of years. In fact, you could argue he's been the best, right next with Fletcher Cox and some other guys as well. So it's a great signing there, brings veteran presence, and you see the Jacksonville Jaguars defense forming. Now you have Calais Campbell, Malik Jackson, you had a rookie in Yannick Ngakoue who played really well, relatively. Dante Fowler wasn't great, but there's still upside there. Personally, I'm looking at Solomon Thomas and Leonard Fournette in the draft. Okay, you have those guys in there. Jalen Ramsey at corner played great his rookie season. You guys are now also in the running for AJ Boye. It appears as if he will be headed to Jacksonville, but I'm not going to say that definitively yet, but that's nice to see there. This Jaguars defense is forming, and this offense could be as well if they take Leonard Fournette. The question now is, again, the offensive line still an issue, and number one, the quarterback still an issue. I think this will be the last year we see of Blake Bortles. I think this is the year they will realize that, man, this guy is limiting our upside. We need to get rid of this guy and move on from this guy. Tony Jefferson signs with the Baltimore Ravens. Tony Jefferson, the strong safety, free safety, a little bit of a hybrid of the Arizona Cardinals, formerly now signing with the Baltimore Ravens. And I don't know where the Ravens are getting all this money. Okay, they signed this guy. They're still in the running to re-sign Brandon Williams. They signed Danny Woodhead. I think there's someone else that they signed. I can't remember. Maybe they re-signed Michael Campanaro. I can't remember. I don't know where they're getting all this money from, but good for them. They signed Eric Weddle last year. He did well for them. Tony Jefferson will be a nice fit next to Eric Weddle to me. We look at the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland Browns making some nice moves, signing Kevin Zeitler, the offensive guard of the Cincinnati Bengals, poaching him from the in-division rival of the Cincinnati Bengals. I thought he was the best free agent on the market. I don't think there was a better free agent on the market than Kevin Zeitler. I preferred him even over Dante Hightower just as a pure free agent because I've seen Kevin Zeitler really dominate in this league for the past 4 seasons, maybe even 5. I can't remember exactly, but he's been dominating for a while. He's going to go to Cleveland. He's going to do well. They also re-signed Joel Bitonio. Now, I think the Bitonio contract is a little rich. The Zeitler one is the largest contract ever for a guard, but I've seen Zeitler's great. Bitonio can be. I think he was injured a lot of last season, though. I need to check that, but I don't know, last season I remember not seeing him out there as much, so I wouldn't have extended him yet. I would have liked to see him one more year out of Bitonio before signing the extension, but because he wasn't a free agent, he was just a guy that, you know, looking for a contract extension. So I would have waited there, but that's fine. And then the Browns also signed wide receiver Kenny Britt, formerly of the Los Angeles Rams / St. Louis Rams and of the Tennessee Titans. And I really like this signing. I don't know why so many people became sour on Kenny Britt. I've been sour on Kenny Britt in the past, but that's because I didn't think he was ever going to, not ever, but I didn't think he was certainly at the level I want him to be. But I think he finally ascended to that level last season in the 2016 NFL season, eclipsing 1,000 yards despite the poor quarterback play of Jared Goff and company. I thought he finally really played well this year, and he's finally ready to be a pretty good #1 wide receiver to me, at least a really good #2. So I like this Kenny Britt signing. I think he finally has his head on straight. He's not going to post any more pornography on Instagram featuring himself. Yes, he did that. I saw his junk. It wasn't great. Actually, it wasn't bad. But we look at Kenny Britt, and this guy, I think he's going to have success in Cleveland. I like this deal. It's a 4-year, $32 million deal. It's a pretty cheap deal to me for a guy who's, you know, #2, #1 wide receiver in that range. And it's cheaper than Terrell Pryor. And an argument could be made that he's better than Terrell Pryor, although I won't make that argument. An argument could be made. Now, he could have inconsistent years from here, and we could look back upon this deal saying, we don't like it. But now I understand why the Browns were willing to let go of Terrell Pryor. Although it's a little bit of a downgrade, because I do like Pryor more than Britt, but it's not much of one, and it could be for cheaper. I mean, it could be, I think Pryor's going to sign for more than $10 million per year, so I would like to move down in that case for this football team. We also have one more move that I'm going to talk about in this video, and that is Matt Kalil signing a 5-year, $55 million deal with the Carolina Panthers. And again, I don't know what the Panthers are doing. It looks like their philosophy is, hey, if you're a bad offensive tackle, left tackle, come here, right? They signed Michael Lohr a couple years ago, and then they were shocked when he played horrible in the Super Bowl. Of course he played horrible in the Super Bowl. He's Michael Lohr. Why'd you even sign this guy? Yes, he's the blind side, but the only thing that's blind about him is his eyes, because he can't see when defensive ends are about to do a damn swim move against him, right? He stinks. And now you have Matt Kalil in there. Now you have them both in there. And I don't know. Maybe Orr is an upcoming free agent, but either way, Kalil stinks, okay? And maybe he'll come here. First year, he'll do well. I guarantee you by the 4th, 5th year, you will be regretting this deal. You'll be saying, why do we sign this deal? 5-year, $55 million. I don't get it. I don't understand it. Way too long, way too much money, $11 million per year. I mean, I know that it's a tough situation because the draft, the offensive tackle class is not deep and it's not good. You look at the free agent class for offensive tackles this year. It's not deep and it's not good. But even Andrew Whitworth, who's been one of the best offensive tackles in the league. He's old, yes, but he signed for $12 million per year. You should have called him better than Matt Kalil, definitely. I don't understand this deal. But with Kalil, there is upside, so I will give you that. And perhaps he'll end up being good for you, but I highly doubt that. So there you go. That ends this video. This will be one of many videos today talking about free agency, talking about free agent moves. So stay tuned for all of these. Tell me your thoughts down below on free agency, on these moves, on all of this stuff. If you like the video, make sure to like, comment, and most importantly, to subscribe. And until next time, this has been the MJ Take on Sports Fan Entertainment. And I'm out. Peace.